Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 318 based on novel. So let's start. Ancient gods had moongazer serpents in their bodies, and the ancient devils had something similar. The human-shaped thing was obviously that. This thing didn't exist before the ancient gods died, but it somehow was released during the struggle between the ancient devil and the celestial emperor. After it got separated, it somehow went into the ancient god skull deep under the celestial burial pool. Although Master Void was standing behind ancient devil Tario, he was in an extremely strange state. His eyes were filled with madness and there was a rune on his forehead emitting powerful devilish energy. It was obviously a seal, but Wang Lin could clearly see Master Void's life force rapidly dissipating. He was on the brink of death. Lin Jianho's expression revealed a complex gaze and he subconsciously avoided Wang Lin's gaze. He looked to the side, and no one knew what he was thinking. The most unpredictable was, of course, the Allseer. The Allseer's expression was calm, just like it was when he entered the cave. His eyes were clear, as if he had seen through everything. When Wang Lin looked at him, he revealed a smile. When Wang Lin saw the Allseer and company appear, he let out a sigh. He knew that the blood on the restrictions would only affect the ancient devil Tario and was useless on everyone else. However, this was the first floor of the Celestial Emperor cave, so it wasn't difficult to leave. But for some reason, he had always felt in his heart that there was something weird about everything he had experienced just now, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. There was a hint that something bad was going to happen. When he saw the Allseer behind ancient devil Tario, that feeling became even stronger. In truth, everything that had just happened far too quickly for him to think. Looking back, it seemed like everything they had done was forced by the ancient devil. It was as if everything was intentionally planned out by the ancient devil. The kind of terrifying feeling that the Allseer gave people surrounded Wang Lin's heart. He rapidly retreated while pondering. Sichu Nan kept an eye on Wang Lin. When he saw Wang Lin retreat, he headed toward Wang Lin and retreated with him. Wang Wei and Hu Huan also did the same. At this instant, all the surrounding cultivators rushed to leave. The Allseer revealed a smile and then raised his finger and pointed. There was a flash of grey gas and the grey-robed Allseer appeared. He coldly stared at his original body and let out a cold snort, but then he charged at the restrictions. Endless slaughter energy appeared and charged into the restrictions. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the restrictions began to light up. However, the restrictions weren't only placed by Wang Lin, Wang Wei and Hu Huan had also placed them. Hu Huan's restrictions were far more powerful than Wang Lin's, so the restrictions here weren't something the grey-robed Allseer could easily break. This bought everyone time. While Wang Wei retreated, he pointed up and a pillar of water appeared and turned into a giant. The giant waved its giant first and hit directly above, causing large amounts of rocks to fall. Hu Huan didn't leave but stood in the distance, placing down large amounts of restrictions and reinforcing their strength. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and his hand formed seals and he used spells to attack the sky with Wang Wei. The surrounding cultivators didn't hesitate and all attacked as well. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the first floor of the cave. And at this moment, in the space outside the demon spirit land, the 6 Nirvana Shatterer cultivators sat across from each other with their hands forming seals as they chanted. They would occasionally raise their fingers to point at the vermilion bird's true spirit, which caused the flames around it to become even stronger. A moment later, the vermilion bird true spirit suddenly let out a cry and a sea of flames spread out. The flames had no effect on members of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, but they would destroy any cultivators or any dust that Divine Sense couldn't see. As the flames spread, all the dust was burned to nothing, leaving only one dust particle that hadn't collapsed. This was the location of the Demon Spirit Land. A flame began to burn on the only remaining dust particle, revealing this location to everyone. The Vermilion Bird's true spirit let out a cry and charged at this speck of dust. Endless rumbles echoed as the vermilion bird's true spirit smashed into the seal on this dust particle. Every time it collided, the seal would loosen a bit. The 6 Nirvana Shatterer cultivators all began using spells to bombard the dust particle. The seal that was personally left by Qing Lin before the celestial realm collapsed trembled even more violently. The external impacts clearly transmitted into the demon spirit land, causing the entire place to tremble violently. Even the people inside the cave clearly felt these trembles. However, no one paid any attention to them. As everyone attacked, the barrier between the Celestial Emperor Cave and the demon spirit land suddenly collapsed. The moment the barrier broke, the grey-robed Allseer broke through Hu Huan's restrictions. Hu Huan's face was pale as Wang Wei pulled her back, and they charged out of the broken barrier. Ancient Devil Tario stepped out. He then let out a grim smile and suddenly inhaled. Suddenly, endless devilish energy came out of his mouth and turned into roaring black dragons. The second brother of the three Chen brothers was caught by the black dragons. There was despair in his eyes as he was devoured by the ancient devil. Wang Lin wanted to save him, but he was too late. One of the female disciples of the beautiful woman was caught by the black dragon and was pulled back. Even Qian Qin had a pale face and was about to be caught by the black dragon. At this moment, the girl in pink covered by the snowstorm arrived and pulled Qian Qin out toward the exit. The black dragon arrived and collided with the snowstorm, causing her to cough out blood. The snowflake treasure had protected her from countless attacks, and at this moment, it couldn't withstand them anymore. It cracked and shattered. However, the girl in pink pulled Qian Qin and charged out. Big Head and company managed to charge out with the help of Situ Na and Master Hollow Wind, along with the woman in silver, who Wang Lin had taken out of his bag. However, the danger wasn't over. Ancient Devil Tario stepped out and his right hand mercilessly reached forward and squeezed. With this squeeze, everyone who had just escaped the cave to the demon spirit land immediately felt a powerful pressure surrounding them. Qian Qin had the lowest cultivation level, so she coughed out blood and her whole body collapsed. Even the girl in pink trembled, and her body collapsed as well. However, there was a treasure from the brilliant void realm in her origin soul. This treasure shined and then its light surrounded her and Qian Qin's origin souls. However, the two girls' origin souls were seriously injured, and under the protection of the light from the treasure, they began to fuse. It was not only the two of them. Among the remaining two Chen brothers, the third brother's body also collapsed. Master Yi Chen quickly saved his third brother's origin soul and escaped. Although Lei Ji's cultivation was ordinary, his physical body was very strong, but half of his body collapsed. The remaining half was saved by Big Head, who luckily had taken no damage during this moment of crisis. As for Master Hollow Wind and Situ Nan, both were at the Nirvana cleanser stage, so while they were seriously injured and coughed out blood, their bodies didn't collapse. However, Situ Nan's expression became strange. The poison in his body had activated due to the serious injuries. The ancient devil spell originally could have annihilated everyone here. The reason it didn't was largely due to Wang Wei and Hu Huan. The moment the ancient devil used the spell, they quickly used their own spells to interfere, and they withstood a majority of the attack. The reason they did this was because they knew there were people here that were close to Wang Lin. They had to repay Wang Lin. Wang Lin had also helped resist this spell. He shared this blow with Wang Wei and Hu Huan. He coughed out blood and was extremely weak. His origin soul was seriously injured and began to rapidly dissipate. Although he had endless fire origin energy inside his body, it didn't stop his origin soul from dissipating. Not even the ancient god leather armor could do much against these constant injuries. After all, Wang Lin's enemy was an ancient devil that had possessed Qing Lin's body. Wang Lin didn't hesitate and took out the pill Wang Wei had gifted him. He crushed the pill and swallowed it. This pill was indeed miraculous. His origin soul stopped dissipating and rapidly healed. Wang Wei and Hu Huan's expressions were also bad, and blood came out from the corners of their mouths. The couple revealed bitter smiles, but their eyes were filled with determination. Wang Lin, the two of us will use our lives to stall the ancient devil. Forget about resurrecting teacher. If you have the chance in the future, save Qing Shuang for us. Wang Wei's right hand reached at the void before him and a crack appeared and then he threw Ju Yi out. The two of us have lived for too long and have entered the cave many times. However, due to various reasons, we never got close. I didn't expect such a thing would happen when we got close. Wang Wei had a complex expression. At this moment, ancient devil Tario slowly walked out from the barrier, and he looked up at the sky. There was a hint of excitement in his eyes, and he began to laugh like crazy. Qinglin, Qinglin, in order to prevent me from successfully escaping, you made it so your body couldn't break any of the restrictions in the cave. But this devil merely used an illusion, and all these people that came to save you broke all the restrictions you set to stop me. Ancient devil Tario clenched his fist as he looked at this world. The excitement in his eyes became even stronger. After he spoke, Wang Wei and Hu Huan's faces suddenly turned pale. Wang Lin gasped. He finally understood the bad feeling he had in his heart. He looked at the ancient devil and his pupils shrank. Now let me show you my real power. Tario raised his right hand as he laughed. His eyes were filled with a crazy amount of bloodthirst. Just at this instant, the entire earth trembled and even the sky distorted. An illusion appeared in the sky. This was the illusion of a palace within a sea of purple flowers. Ancient devil. You can break one of my husband's plans, but you didn't know that by stepping outside, you'd enter the second rule my husband set for you. A cold and beautiful voice echoed across the world. A woman in white gradually walked out from the illusionary palace that appeared in the sky. Flower Imperial Concubine. Wang Lin suddenly looked at the sky. At the same moment, the seal on the dust particle where the demon spirit land was had loosened under the constant attacks of the vermilion bird's true spirit. It could be broken at any time. At the same time, a law similar to the change between day and night on a planet shined on the dust particle the demon spirit land was in. It arrived during sunrise. The illusion of the palace in the sky above the demon spirit land gradually turned from an illusion into solid form. It was as if it had teleported from Qinglin's cave. The moment the flower imperial concubine walked out from the palace, the entire palace and the thousands of purple flowers around it shrank and became a palm-sized hairpin. She closed her jade-like hands and the hairpin disappeared, fusing into her body. She light her gentle hand that could cause most people's hearts to pound. The flower imperial concubine looked at ancient devil Tario with melancholy and sadness in her eyes. They were so close, but they hadn't met since they separated countless years ago. Now that she was able to finally meet him, it was like seeing the moon in the water or the flower in the mirror. It was not the same soul as back then. It was like standing by the river and looking across. Below you there is the blue river and across is the green mountain. However, after you cross the river, you that find something is lacking. The green mountain and blue river are still there, but there is one thing missing, the soul. Ancient devil Tario's eyes shined red as he looked at the flower imperial concubine with greed and bloodlust, then he laughed. I have long heard that Qinglin was flooded with good fortune and that all his 8 of imperial concubines were all extremely beautiful women. In particular, the flower imperial concubine was above the rest. It was said that she came from the Wind Celestial realm and was the little sister Wind Celestial Emperor Lan Yun. Back then, I missed the chance to get a look, but looking at you today, it seems the rumors were indeed true. Although your husband, Qinglin, is dead, his body is still there. Simply become this devil's flower concubine and become a cultivation furnace. Won't that be a joy? Tario laughed as he stepped forward and reached out with his right hand. Although ancient devil Tario laughed, he was filled with caution. He wasn't afraid of the flower imperial concubine, but his fear of Qinglin was too strong. According to her, Qinglin had already prepared for failure and had left more plans. The appearance of the flower imperial concubine was obviously one of Qinglin's plans. Qinglin was the most powerful celestial emperor. He was so powerful that even people from the outer realm knew his name. In addition to his powerful cultivation, he was able to calculate the future as if he was the heavens themselves, and he never missed a thing. As ancient devil Tario moved, the demon spirit land suddenly trembled. Black fog appeared in the sky and spread out. As Tario's right hand reached out and the black fog condensed into a giant arm that reached for the flower imperial concubine. At the same time, the human-shaped thing next to Tario coldly looked at everyone and locked onto Wang Lin. In a flash, it charged at Wang Lin, and before it even got close to Wang Lin, sonic booms could already be heard. Master Void's condition was extremely bad. Although he was standing there, his breathing was very difficult. Even if you were at a distance, you could hear him trying to breathe. This was no longer the sound a person could make, it was as if he was a beast. What was even more terrifying was that not only was his breathing rough, even drool was dripping down the side of his mouth. This drool was very thick, so it stretched out like silk. It was enough to make you feel nauseous just by looking at it. His eyes were swelled and his bloodshot eyes were sluggish yet filled with madness. His already old appearance no longer looked human, and his facial features were twisted together as if he had gone crazy. He also stared at Wang Lin. His last trace of memory was his hatred and killing intent toward Wang Lin. Master Void let out a roar as he shot toward Wang Lin closely after the human-shaped thing. The Allseer still looked calm, and his eyes revealed a gaze that made seem like everything was clear and normal. It was as if this trip to the Celestial Emperor Cave was all within his calculations. Ling Qianhu still had his head lowered and was struggling. He had a complex expression along with a dazed look, and most of all guilt. The human-shaped thing and Master Void were naturally blocked by the celestial cloud couple. However, they were both injured, and the human-shaped thing was extremely strange, so it was difficult for a winner to be decided quickly. Master Void was breathing hard, and when Wang Wei and Hu Huan tried to block him, he became even more crazy. His target was Wang Lin, and if anyone dared to block him, he would charge without any care for the repercussions. The moment Wang Wei closed in, Master Void let out a roar and all the flesh on his body moved. It was very strange. Wang Wei's expression changed and he retreated without hesitation. However, just as he retreated, Master Void opened his mouth and spat out a large mouthful of black blood. This black blood gave off a powerful stench and Master Void trembled after coughing it out. That was a majority of the blood inside Master Void's body. After the large amount of blood was spat out, it seemed to have intelligence, and it formed a net that charged after Wang Wei. Wang Wei's right hand formed a seal while he retreated, and he pointed forward. With a bang, an ice mountain appeared out of thin air. The ice mountain suddenly appeared and immediately blocked the black blood. However, the blood seemed to contain extreme heat, so the moment it touched the ice mountain began to melt. It also dyed the entire ice mountain black. Wang Lin, this is the first of the 5 heavens blight peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivator's face, body blight. His body will continue to deteriorate until his soul dies. Wang Wei wanted to continue blocking, but due to previous injuries, Hu Huan was constantly pushed back by the human-shaped thing. At this moment of crisis, Wang Wei waved his hand and a large amount of icebergs appeared before Wang Lin. Then he charged toward Hu Huan to help her block the human-shaped thing. Without anyone blocking him, Master Void jumped at Wang Lin with drool and black blood leaking from his mouth. His eyes were filled with madness. At this moment, he no longer looked like the elder of the Alliance, he was obviously an ugly beast. Looking at Master Void, Wang Lin was shocked. He wasn't shocked by Master Void's arrival, but by the 5 heavens blights he kept hearing about recently. This is the first heavens blight? After one reaches the second step, their lifespan is almost limitless. If they absorb the world's origin energy, it can be transformed into endless vitality. However, how could the heavens allow something to exist as long as itself? The 5 heavens blights were the boundless calamities that Nirvana Shatterer cultivators had to face. It wasn't that cultivators who didn't reach the Nirvana Shatterer stage would be fine. There would be even more terrifying calamities awaiting the ones that didn't. At this moment, Master Void rushed in with heavy breathing and closed in on the iceberg. He opened his mouth to spit again, but this time there wasn't much blood left. Aside from the foul smell, there were pieces of rotten innards. The moment the giant hand formed by the black fog from Tario closed in, she lifted her jade-like hand and a sphere immediately appeared at the tip of her finger. There was a cloud of gas inside the sphere, and countless illusion of flowers appeared within it. The moment the giant hand closed in, the small sphere collided with it. The giant hand unexpectedly collapsed into endless black fog and was pushed back. Ancient Devil Tario's pupils shrank. He let out a cold snort and then charged at the flower Imperial concubine. Both of his hands moved to form a seal, and the world immediately changed colors. As the wind blew, the black fog covering the sky began to gather and formed blobs of black fog. The moment those blobs of black fog appeared, they began to move. I believe you must be very familiar with this spell. Ancient Devil Tario laughed as his right hand mercilessly grasped at the sky and he shouted, "Star Burial." After he spoke, the countless blobs of black fog began to move even more than before and suddenly turned into spheres. These spheres emitted bright starlight. It was currently night, but with the endless starlight coming from the spheres, the land was completely bright. The star burial of my husband's sun, moon, and star spell, the flower imperial concubine revealed a complex gaze, but she shook her head and softly said, "However, with just your power, you can't display the true power of my husband's spell." Tario sneered and waved his right hand. The spheres formed by the black fog emitting the starlight became even more dazzling. Then these spheres transformed from incorporeal into corporeal forms. The rays of light crossed and filled the sky. As Tario waved his hand, the endless starlight gathered and descended toward the flower imperial concubine. It was as if it wanted to bury the flower imperial concubine here. If my husband used this star burial celestial spell, he could extract the power of this star system and use a spell that could fill up the entire star system. Battling 10,000 people or 100,000 people would the same. If he was facing just one person, then that person would have to withstand the power of the entire star system. There was a hint of disdain as she looked at the starlight falling from the sky. She formed a seal with her right hand and spat out a mouthful of fragrance that turned into 9 balls. There was source origin energy inside these 9 balls, and they floated around the flower imperial concubine like a formation. The moment the formation appeared, the starlight gathered on her body. At this moment, the location she was at became the brightest spot in the star system. At the same time, in the space outside the demon spirit land, as the Vermilion Bird's true spirit and the Vermilion Bird divine sect continued to attack the seal on the demon spirit land, the seal finally began to collapse. Along with it, the entire sky of the demon spirit land collapsed. The sky collapsed inch by inch as if it was the seal itself. It collapsed, and was replaced with the starry sky. The Vermilion Bird divine sect arrived. For the first time, the Allseer frowned slightly. Everything that had happened within the Celestial Emperor cave had been within his calculations. He also knew that although the trip within the cave seemed simple, every step contained plans left by Celestial Emperor Qinglin. The Allseer rushing into here meant that he had become part of the Celestial Emperor's plan. Just thinking about how he was indirectly competing with Celestial Emperor Qinglin made his eternally calm heart pound rapidly. Was the former Celestial Emperor really omnipotent, or was the Allseer a step above? He didn't know the answer, but this chance was extremely precious for the Allseer. Once he succeed, his Tao heart would grow by leaps and bounds. The powerful self-confidence and momentum of beating Celestial Emperor Qinglin's plan would allow him to recover from the injuries of the past and advance even further. Even if he failed, it would still be a fortune for the Allseer. He could use this plan that he had calculated for countless years to comprehend everything he needed to. In order to get this opportunity, he was willing to pay any price. What about Ancient Devil Tario or the Cultivation Alliance? Even if he had to cause a catastrophe, it wouldn't stop the Allseer's Tao heart. Everyone else wanted Celestial Emperor Qinglin's body or spells. Some even wanted to find the secret of the 3rd step. Others might think he was crazy, but what he wanted was to battle Qinglin with a war of predictions. Since you wanted seal the Ancient Devil and set many plans to deal with the Ancient Devil in the future, I'll destroy all of this. The Ancient Devil is merely my tool to have a battle with Celestial Emperor Qinglin. No one could guess what the Allseer was thinking. If there was one person, it would be Ling Qianhu. However, within the Celestial Emperor cave, Wang Lin's first Vermilion Bird awakening was something outside of the Allseer's plan. From that moment on, the Allseer felt a sense of pressure. In his original plan, Ancient Devil Tario would take his advice and use an illusion to confuse everyone. This made everyone that entered his helper in breaking the plan Qinglin had laid out on the 1st floor. However, the Allseer would have never thought that that damn Wang Lin would awaken a second time. The moment Wang Lin's second awakening occurred, countless unpredictable variables appeared in the Allseer's plan. At this moment, the change in the sky caused the Allseer's expression to become gloomy. He took a deep breath. The Allseer understood that he had to personally act now. His eyes suddenly closed, and at this moment, 7 colored light shined from his body. Then grey was added, and as a result, 8 colors appeared. These 8 colors flickered, and then suddenly 8 different avatars wearing different colored robes walked out. The grey-robed Allseer was one of them. Although the 8 Allseers looked the same, they all had different auras. They immediately scattered toward Wang Lin and the celestial cloud couple. 3 of them charged toward the collapsed sky. At the same time, the flower imperial concubine was surrounded by starlight, and with a bang, the starlight was pushed away. She walked out from within the 9 balls. Although they had dimmed quite a bit, her expression was still calm. Ancient Devil Tario looked at the sky and revealed a serious expression. His hand reached out and a large black blade appeared in his hand. Holding the blade, he faced not the flower imperial concubine, but the sky, and slashed his sword, sending a ray of blade energy at the sky. The flower imperial concubine revealed a smile. The moment the change occurred in the sky, she knew that what Qing Lin had said back then had come true. The person who saves me will be named Wang. When the celestial spirit heaven realm collapses, I will have a chance to awaken. At this moment, ancient devil Tario's blade energy charged into the sky, and the flower imperial concubine's body gradually disappeared. When she reappeared, she was in the sky before the blade energy. She took a deep breath, and then the 9 balls charged forward to collide with the blade energy. A thunderous rumble echoed, and the powerful impact caused her to retreat. Killing intent flashed across Tario's eyes, and then he charged at the flower imperial concubine. As for Wang Lin, when the Allseer's avatar arrived, he was put into a dangerous situation, especially with Master Void's crazy attack. The glacier Wang Wei had placed didn't last. It collapsed, and Master Void charged like crazy toward Wang Lin. There was also the Allseer's avatar. The grey-robed Allseer was the fastest. He was closing in on Wang Lin with an indifferent expression. In addition, there were 2 more Allseer avatars closely behind the grey-robed Allseer. The 4 powerhouses all contain powerful cultivation. Now they all charged at Wang Lin, causing his pupils to shrink, and he quickly retreated. Just at this instant, the sky suddenly collapsed and the law of origin in the sky entered the demon spirit land. The moment the sky collapsed, it was like a mirror being shattered. The broken fragments were hit by the impact of the flames and pushed downwards. Behind the fragments, a heaven-shaking vermilion bird cry from the vermilion bird's true spirit echoed across the entire demon spirit land. However, due to the crisis Wang Lin was facing, he didn't have time to look up at the sky. But as he retreated, he felt a familiar power of law appear around him. This familiar power of law was what Wang Lin had comprehended after sitting on the mountain peak for a few months on planet Water Spirit. It was also the power of his first self-created spell, Sundered Night. The Sundered Night born from the sea. At this moment, even while facing the attack of Master Void and 3 of the Allseer's avatars, Wang Lin stopped without hesitation when he felt this power. His eyes were filled with madness as he raised his arms and stared at the 4 of them. Then the law that had just appeared seemed to be attracted by something and rushed at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's mind thoroughly entered a mysterious state, and everything before him disappeared. The only thing in his mind was that moment of beginning, when he comprehended the force that tore the darkness of the night apart. The pupils of the grey-robed Allseer, who was chasing after Wang Lin, suddenly shrank, and his eyes revealed a trace of shock. Not only him, but the other 2 Allseer avatars were also startled as they looked at Wang Lin with disbelief. "This is," the grey-robed Allseer gasped. Only Master Void was completely unaware of all this. Although his body looked real, it was formed by his origin soul during his first heaven's blight. Whether it was the blood or guts, they were all formed by his origin soul. When it finally decayed, his origin soul would be destroyed as well. He was lost in madness as he charged out. He pounced at Wang Lin with only the thought of devouring Wang Lin. However, just when he was within hundreds of feet of Wang Lin completely disappeared from his eyes. The entire world unexpectedly became night. Even the sea of flames that had fallen from the sky when it shattered disappeared. It was as if at this moment, Wang Lin was no longer in the demon spirit land, but in a boundless, independent space. Not only was the sky completely dark, but the sound of waves moving was entering your ears. Even the grey-robed Allseer and the other two avatars were in this endless night. No matter how much their divine senses spread out, they couldn't find a trace of Wang Lin. It was as if Wang Lin had completely merged with the law of the world, and it was impossible to find a single trace of him. The surroundings were completely quiet aside from the sound of the raging waves. It was so real, it was terrifying. Looking ahead, one could vaguely see that they were in a vast and boundless sea. The waves were not raging but slowly rising up and down. The wind blew by, carrying the smell of the sea. All of this made it hard for people to believe it was not real. Master Void's angry roar echoed across the quiet sea. Being unable to find Wang Lin made him go crazy. He continued to attack the sea, setting off powerful waves. The grey-robed Allseer looked ahead, and a feeling of fear he hadn't felt for countless years appeared. This was a very unfamiliar feeling for him, but he couldn't help but feel it. He vaguely learned something, but the more he learned, the more shocked he became, and his eyelids twitched uncontrollably. Just at this moment, a red light appeared in the distance. The moment the red light appeared, never-before-seen fear appeared in the grey-robed Allseer's eyes. He recognized it as the power of law, and he couldn't believe Wang Lin possessed it. The grey-robed Allseer retreated without any hesitation. His scalp was numb, but no matter how much he ran, he was still above the sea. The red glow from the horizon became even brighter, and what appeared before everyone was the fiery red sun. The sun was completely red, and the waves raged below it. At this moment, almost everyone saw an illusion showing that their bodies had dissipated and turned into the endless night sky. Even the crazed Master Void was startled, and he unexpectedly awakened from his confused state. However, his eyes were soon filled with unimaginable horror. Law of origin. When he was at the mid-stage of Nirvana Scrya, he comprehended the law of the world and created Sundered Night. Right now, Wang Lin's cultivation level was far above what it was back then, at the peak Nirvana Scrya and only one step away from Nirvana Cleanser. At his current cultivation level, if he were to cast this spell that he could only use during the rare moments the law of origin revealed itself, not even Wang Lin knew how powerful it would be. This video will end here.